I think I've been muted now. Now my camera's frozen. God damn. So I've been talking for a good, I don't know, 5 minutes maybe, and my mic was muted. But let's go over it quickly. I want to try out incinerator burn because I think that yeah, but I was muted a while ago. I want to try out incinerator burn because I think that the card is really good right now. I think that the meta can't really punish it that easily. But I'm gonna be trying it out in some tournament practice just because I don't want to immediately waste play points. Let's make a new deck. It doesn't matter right now what it's called. Okay, so for incinerator, the first step is we need to put all our enablers in the deck, and incinerator is enabled by bolts that you can cast on the next turn. Or rather, damage spells that can hit the next turn, the following turn, in Silphire and Rift Bolt. And just then our regular old bolts, which can follow that up to make our incinerator cost 1. What is cool about this is that Rift Bolt and Silphire work well enough together. So, which means that if you draw Silphire and Rift Bolt in your opener hand, that also works to get Incinerator out. If that didn't work, I think that this strategy would be maybe not as good. Maybe I'm just gonna move these. Makes more sense. And I'm still missing Skewer here. Skewer's more recent. Here it is. Okay. So this is our main plan. I'm also missing Goblin Guide here. But Goblin Guide... because I think you still want your 1-drops. Just because Incinerator can get awkward. I mean, that's always a possibility. When you're playing high synergy cards, they can become awkward when, you can synergize them out. But that's about it. This is the base list. Now, I don't think I want to go mono red, because Boral's Charm is really fucking good. But also, what am I thinking here? Now we have all our flex slots, and we can't play them all. Meaning that between Skullcrack, Searing Blaze, and Lightning Helix, we can't play them all. I think that Skullcrack is not needed. I think that you can get by without it. Simply because Incinerator is already good at beating some life gains, and it's gonna be particularly good, I hope, at beating Hammer, so Shadow Spear shouldn't be that much of a problem. I don't think that I can fit Helix here. I think that Searing Blaze is the way to go. Where is Searing Blaze? It takes so long to find cards in this fucking UI. I wish Magic Online had like a binder feature. A proper binder feature. Maybe it doesn't, I'm just bad at this. But like a way I could just select a little filter here that showed me only a group of favorite cards. Think of all the time we'd save in building burn. Where the fuck? Okay, hold on. When was Searing Blaze printed? Wasn't it like original Zendikar? No, it was World Wake. Alright. Though maybe not 4, because 4 Searing Blaze is kinda heavy. I think I'll include that Flame Rift, because the Flame Rift is good. It wouldn't Searing Blaze be worse because you need to have a land drop for the 3 damage. Worst at enabling Incinerator. Well, Searing Blaze isn't really an Incinerator enabler. The issue here is that, so let me, these, what are they? 28 card, no, sorry. Let's do it like this. So on the left, we have our Incinerator package. And because playing Incinerator puts us in a place where, if you draw 2 Incinerators, It's a dead card. If you draw an incinerator too late, fuck, it's a dead card. So you need cards that fight that card disadvantage. And for us, that's either creatures, because they can get in for more damage, or cards like Boros Charm, which deal 4 damage and can potentially mean you have to resolve one less card. I'm including the cheeky Flame Rift for that reason. And then Searing Blaze, because it's effectively a 2-for-1. So when Chandler's Incinerator is not the play, Searing Blaze is good. And now lands. So what lands do I? Is there? No, there's a filter for lands. There we go. Or Dragon Basics. What else? I'm gonna play 4 of these. I'm gonna be bold and play 2 of these. Not the full 4, but I'm gonna play 2. Actually, the most relevant fetch right now is probably Scalding Tar, right? Do I have 4 of those? If memory serves me correct. Oh, only 3? Oh. What a loser. What am I missing here? Shocklands. Gotta have my Shocklands. And I'm missing 2 lands, which should be fetch lands, right? Fetch lands, fetchy lands. Alright, fetch lands. And you get I don't want Arid Mesa. It's like the worst fetch land. Let's put 1 of each because we can. Alright, so that's the main board. I'm gonna very quickly organize it. There we go. Now for the sideboard. Something that's incredibly painful with Chandra's Incinerator is Leyline of Sanctity. It's bad for regular burn, but for Incinerator, it's tragic. You cannot have a Leyline on the other side. So and also the matchups where you'd want Artifact Hate are good, because Incinerator is insane against Amulet, and Incinerator is going to be good against Hammer, I hope. So I think that I can skip out on Smash the Smithereens to play Wear and Tear. Do I have Wear and Tear? Oh, I do. Tear. Why are they so big? Okay, now what else? What else does my burn list play? Palm, Path. Okay, decisions. So I've replaced Smash with Wear and Tear. I think that deflecting Palm is now not needed, because again, I'm playing Incinerator. The Hammer matchup should now be good, so I'm not going to include deflecting Palm. I think Path to Exile is still very much a good card. It's very much a good card, so I think I need to include that one. I definitely want to include Roiling Vortex, just because Roiling Vortex is such a good card. Especially into Omnath, which has now, well, we're only playing 4 cards that are bad against Omnath, so the difference shouldn't be too big. However, I definitely cannot skip out on Vortex if I'm playing Incinerator. I should maybe even play the full 4. I'm not sure. So what else do we have? Firecraft. I think Firecraft is still good. I think that the what the fuck? What is it called? The Murktide matchup is still rough. Getting down an Incinerator early is going to be good, but because there might be some difficulty in sticking an Incinerator after turn 2. I think that Firecraft is the way to go there. Where the fuck? Fire. Is it Origins, right? There it is. And now we have some space. Now we have some space for... I think that Palm is not needed. Yeah, that was my argument. The rest of the cyber is pretty much the same. The mirror might have become a bit rough. What else do we have here? I honestly think that's pretty good. Maybe Living In is still a bit rough, right? Like, Incinerator doesn't solve Living End. So maybe Leyline of the Void is an option here. Maybe Leyline of the Void is an option. Because if I'm playing Leyline of the Void, then Incinerator just takes that whole game away. Although, between Grief and Subtlety... Yeah, okay, so I'm gonna put Leyline of the Void here. Because I think that between Subtlety and other balance effects, that matchup is going to be rough. So yeah, this is the side. This is what we're going with. And again, just very quickly, we have our Seal of Fire and Rift Bolts to enable our Incinerators. We have our Lava Spikes, Lava Lightning Bolts, and our Skewer the Critics to follow them up so that Incinerator can actually come down. Then we have Creatures as value cards to get some damage going if we have awkward Incinerators. Same goes for Boros Charm and Flame Rift and Searing Blaze. That's the deck. So I'm not going to be playing a League right now, just because I think that this deck needs, might need some fine-tuning. Only buddies can join? No. Might need some fine-tuning, and I really don't want to just waste play points. I wasted a lot of play points playing bullshit decks, and I'm kind of up against the wall in play points. I have like, I don't know, 160. Is that it? We can check. I have 170 play points. So yeah, I would prefer not to randomly lose them while trying out a fresh build. And speaking of fresh builds, two very, I want to say disturbing. Because that's really what it was. Two very disturbing lists got my attention this past week. And I can't not talk about them because they were just awful. Truly awful. I have them here. I think I'll start with the least offensive one, and as soon as you see it, you'll think, wait, this is the least offensive one? Holy shit. But it's this one. Can you see it properly? Yeah, you can. So, out the bat for Darcy. And Darcy in Burn has this... Darcy in Burn isn't strictly wrong. I mean, a lot of people like to say, no, Darcy Burn is strictly wrong. You shouldn't play it. Fuck you. Fuck your family. No. Darcy in Burn is fine. It's a good card. You get to enable her surveillability very easily because pretty much your entire deck triggers surveil, so that's very good. It's also not hard to have delirium, because you have lands, you have sources, you have instants. If you don't have creatures, you're usually in a good place, so it's very easy to have delirium. That's just a bad prowess list. Kinda. If I'm being real, this is like you pick up a prowess list, you shave away all that makes prowess good, and you mash burn in there, and you hope that you do well. And because, red deck wins, you often do well. So this was a 5-0, by the way, and 5-0s aren't really the biggest the biggest thing to take conclusions from. Heck, I don't even think that Magic Online is like a good place to take lists from. Even those challenges and whatever. They're very small. They're big for Magic events, like 300 people. But in the scope of statistics, they're not. 300 people is not nearly enough to take conclusions from. So, take that as you will. Yeah, that's my view of Darcy and Burn. It's not. Ooh, thank you, Mr. Progress, for the follow. But Darcy and Burn is not completely wrong. It's just that it's very hard to justify when the meta is so aggressive on removal. And right now the meta is very. Ooh, thank you for the follow, Mithrios11. Thank you very much. By the way, I do have a follower goal planned. I was thinking about 200 followers, and I'll give away a secret lair arena code, the Eidolon one, because I have a bunch of those. Because I bought a bunch of Eidolons. Well, that's a goal. I don't have a counter here because the counters that exist are absolute dog shit, and they just don't work. And I'm trying to get a game. This is looking rough, looking real rough. But I was saying the meta right now doesn't really take kindly to creatures, right? Murktide, Omnath, hell, Burn, and Shadow, and Crashing Footfall. So more than half the decks in this page just completely shit on your creatures. And the other half of Hammer Time, Living End, Titan, and that's it. So Hammer Time, Living End, and Titan, they're just gonna beat you before that Darcy makes an actual impact in the game. So I don't think that right now is the correct meta for playing Darcy and Burn. Then you have 2 Ragavan, which is just wrong. Ragavan and Burn is just wrong. Card is very slow at getting damage in. Okay, let's go back a little bit. Why is Ragavan good to begin with? So Ragavan is good because it creates a mana advantage that's very, very hard to overcome if you're on the other side of the table. It potentially draws you a card. Modern's a very strong format. There are barely any bad cards being played, and by bad cards I don't mean that I'm not memeing on these decks. But some decks do play some shitty cards, like some cards that on their own are absolutely unplayable. For example, Hammer Time plays a bunch of them. Like your Ragavan hits Hammer Time, you exile fucking, I don't know, you exile fucking Colossus Hammer. You're not playing that shit. Oh, thank you very much for the follow. Yeah, KB. Jesus fucking Christ, these Twitch names are they're not very good. Colossus Hammer. You're not casting that Colossus Hammer, right? You're just saying, okay, fuck it. I've exiled one. Hope you don't get one of the other 3. To which you have a bunch of titters for. So that's what I mean. So Ragavan isn't always drawing a card, but if it's hitting a bunch of times, you're more than likely getting a card that you want to be casting. Or that you don't mind casting. So that's point 2 of Ragavan. And just hitting for 2 every turn is actually pretty okay. If you're keeping the game in check. Our problem is that we don't really keep the game in check. We are at our strongest position when we open up our little deck box and the sleeves are actually. I hope you can hear me shuffling in my drawer. So this is when we are at our best position. This is my Pioneer deck, by the way, but the effect happens. It's when we go like this. Okay, I'm gonna shuffle up my deck, and your opponent sees it. Oh, it's red. Oh, I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. that I have to. It's like I'm on fire, and I have to put it out. It's annoying. Thank you, Delilah1717, or 1717, or 171.7. So we're at our best on that turn 0, and from that moment on, we're just losing control of the game. And Ragavan works the other way around. The longer the game goes, the better Ragavan is. The more advantage you accrue from it. It just doesn't mesh well with Burn. Eidolon is Eidolon. And, well, Mishra's Bauble is just terrible in Burn. A lot of your deck plays at sorcery speed. Half your spells, all your creatures, all your lands. That's very relevant, by the way. Like, bobbling into your second land on your turn 5 is gonna feel awful. So this just doesn't jive. You don't need. Well, by the way, why do people play Bauble? Because of Darcy, but you don't need the artifact for Darcy. You have creatures. Someone at Mal just told me it's playing against Burn because you feel like. Yeah, that's pretty much it. The clock is quickly ticking down. They have the manual on how to beat it, but it's like, just can't do anything. Just can't do anything about it. It's gonna blow up in my face, and yeah, that's it. And then the sidebar is just a train wreck. I mean, come on. Why are you playing Core Firewalker? That's my biggest gripe with this entire list. Actually, it's 2 Core Firewalker in the side. What is this? Rest of the sideboard is fine. I don't love the split between Wear and Tear and Smash the Smithereens, because if you're playing Wear and Tear, it's because you want to beat Leyline, and if you want to beat Leyline, you want to draw your Wear and Tears. And if you're playing 2, the math just doesn't work. If you're playing 2 Wear and Tear, you're not going to draw them most of the time. Actually, okay, let me do this off screen. I don't know what my Google will suggest to me, but I don't want people to see what kind of weird shit I'm into. Okay, this is how I reach this conclusion. You have a deck of 60 cards. You're drawing 7, and your successes in your population are 2. See, that's a shitty probability. That's a shitty probability of drawing your out. If you bump it up to 3, though, gets a little better. A third is way more than a fifth. Which am I doing this right? Oh, okay, hold on. Yeah, this is like close to a fifth. This is close to a third, and I'm rounding this very poorly to support my argument, because that's how you argue with people. But if you go like, I don't know, so 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. If you go like 11 cards deep, this becomes close to 50%. Again, rounding up because it makes my argument stronger. And this is as likely as you drawing it on your initial 7 if you have 3. It's just not reliable, you know. If we're speaking honestly, like if this is close to a coin flip on drawing that sideboard card. Not just there, not there, but close. This is just terrible. So that's why I hate 2-ofs in the sideboard. And these types of split of 2 and 2, they're just not good. You're just making your sideboard worse. Play the full 4 of one of them if that's your choice, and that's it. What else? And then silence. I mean, here's my issue with silence. You're playing silence to beat one deck, which is Living End. Rhinos is a good matchup. You're not playing silence to beat Rhinos. And yeah, that's it. You're not playing Rhinos to beat silence. You're playing silence to beat Living End. And if I'm playing a card to beat Living End, I'm playing Leyline of the Void, because Leyline of the Void actually has use outside of Living End. Might be okay against Murktide, still haven't tested that. And it's just good against a bunch of straggler decks in the rest of the meta. Like, I don't know, you get paired against food, they abuse their graveyard to make food every turn, bam, slam that Leyline. you still lose, but you don't feel as bad. So yeah, this silence is just not great. And that list was the least problematic list, by the way. That was just, that's what do they call this? Total life control, life total control? Is that it? That's a dumb name. That's just a dumb name. But this is burn effectively. You're just playing awkward spells with Bauble. You're playing non-optimal spells for the current meta with Darcy. And you're playing Ragavan because you want to flex your opponents that you can afford Ragavan. Can't afford a shower, can't afford a Ragavan. That's classic Magic player. But now for the second list, and this one is like, imagine God is like a little binder. Imagine God is like one of these little binders. And he's running up to his LGS. God has an LGS, by the way. He falls. His binder shoots up a bunch of cards, and this size is your favorite binder. My favorite thing about my binders that I'm kind of tismy, so I just have like play sets. Oh, look at Strict Proctor. Yeah, I have cores here. I know. Full art Strict Proctors. But God lets go of his binder. It opens up. Some cards fall out, and he picks them up and says, might as well play them. And that's this list. Holy shit, what's happening here? What is happening here? Oh, by the way, but hold on a minute. I didn't comment. This person cut Goblin Guides. You know what? Fuck this person. Cutting Goblin Guides is the most delayed take someone can have on burn. Goblin Guide is not only our best creature, Goblin Guide is our second best spell. Yeah, second best spell. It's close between Goblin Guide, Boros Charm, and that's it. Our best spell is obviously Bolt. Second best, it's a toss-up between Boros Charm and Goblin Guide, and cutting Goblin Guide just doesn't make sense. They're telling me, are you telling me that you're cutting this beautiful? Ooh, okay, that's cool. You're cutting this beautiful card, this beautiful boy. That's just wrong. So yeah, I forgot to comment that because this list does have Goblin Guide. At least this person didn't start cutting the best cards. Honestly, what got cut from this list? Can this zoom in? This is kind of, oh my god, they have Roiling Vortex in the main. What got cut from this list? Oh, Riftbolt. Riftbolt is missing. Yeah, don't cut Riftbolt. Riftbolt is really good. Riftbolt's, I don't think. Okay, I'll get there. Okay, Obnixilis, yeah, but it's a single. It's like what's can I think of an example? Not really. It's literally that you put in that single. You hope you don't draw it, and when your list makes 5-0, you go, got him. I 5-0'd with this card. It's like, it's a single. You didn't draw it. You didn't play it. It didn't matter. But there it is. It's there. And then you go like, oh yeah, this card's really good in the deck. You should play it. And you scam a bunch of people into playing them. But for Ragavan, talked about Ragavan. Then we have 3 Roiling Vortex in the main. That should really be Skullcrack. There is value in having Roiling Vortex in the main. Roiling Vortex is a good burn card. It is. The issue with Roiling Vortex is that you can't really afford to play it if your life total's ever being pressured, if you're ever in a position that you can't be racing all that well, or if you're just in a position where paying 2 mana to deal like 1 or 2 damage just isn't enough. It's as simple as that. Take your turn 2 to play this. Doesn't affect the board. Doesn't affect the opponent's life total all that much in that turn. And for this to reach Skullcrack's potential... oh yeah, it did... Okay. That might be the one smart thing about this train wreck of a list. He removed Riftbolt so that his main board Rolling Vortex didn't slam him for 5. Okay, that's fair. But yeah, to deal 3 with this card, you're expecting your opponent to get to their turn 5. Why are you playing Burn if you're expecting your opponent to reach turn 5? That's just it. Then we have Obnixilis. Obnixilis in the main board. So the thing about Obnixilis, let's for a moment, let's imagine that Obnixilis is a red and a red. Just for the sake of you're splashing black for that piece of garbage. You drop down Obnixilis. You're lucky if you got to sacrifice a creature. Okay, this is actually relevant. When do you choose your casualty thing? Is it on cast or is it Obnix? Okay. As you cast this spell, so it's like an additional cost, right? And it creates a copy of the spell on the stack. Okay, so you cannot... Wait. Oh no, this is Casualty X. Okay, I thought this was Casualty 2. Never mind then. I was thinking if this were Casualty 2, I was wondering if you could use Obnixilis, cast it, Swift Sphere gets pumped to 2, and then use it for Casualty, but never mind. Okay, so you're using Obnixilis here because, allegedly, by the way, you have a lot of creatures. Late game burn creatures don't do all that much, plus you have 4 legendaries, so maybe you have some extra to spare. But the idea is that you're casting Obnixilis and you're doming your opponent for 4 every turn. Honestly, if that were the case, if this cost 1 a red and it borrows Charm my opponent every turn, I'd be very down for it. Or like, at worst, shocks my opponent every turn, I'd be totally down for it. But here's the issue. Burn makes its living. Throw splashing black, it should run Bump in the Night. Yeah, maybe. Probably, to be honest. But they're running Ragavan. I think you can reason with this person. But the issue with Obnix is that Burn makes its living by making your opponent's cards not being amazing. Like, for example, I don't know. Shit. That's kind of the issue with Modern right now, is that we can't really make our opponent's cards be bad. I don't know. Removal, I guess removal. This kind of gets counteracted by the fact that Obnix is another target for removal, but whatever. The idea is that we can make our opponent's cards not be as good. Like, we make removal not be as amazing, we make bounce effects not be as amazing, we make a bunch of shit not be as amazing. So it stands to reason that your Obnixilis, what it'll do is actually you'll uptick it twice and your opponent will discard 2 cards that they were kind of not going to use anyway. It's why Croxa, when Croxa got revealed, just as a refresher, I have Croxa here. When Croxa got revealed, I thought, maybe, you know what? Maybe. Then I realized, hold on, no, what's gonna happen is that my opponent's gonna discard a shitty card that they don't want in this matchup, because we force them to have cards that they do not want in this matchup, and after that they're just gonna keep living their life. Just gonna keep living their life. I spend 2 mana to do nothing pretty much, and if the game ever gets to a place where I'm escaping Kroxa, and I haven't won yet. I mean, what game am I playing? Uno. So yeah, that's why Obnixilis is bad, pretty much in burn at least. I also defend that Obnixilis is just a bad card. I think I've never seen Obnixilis win a draft match against me. I'm fucking garbage at draft, but whatever. Then we go on to the side. First of all, a bunch of 2-ofs in Sanctifier, Hearse, and Blood Moon. But that's fine. Sanctifier and Unlicensed Hersey are both graveyard hate, so I guess you can. Yeah, sure. I guess you can make the case for this being a 4-off instead of 2-2-ofs. Hearse is not amazing. Is it okay? Hold on. I'm gonna drive myself crazy if I don't hear this. Hearse. Okay. Unlicensed Hearse is not amazing in burn. It's 2 mana is very heavy for a graveyard hate card. I never loved playing Rest in Peace because you tap out, you play Rest in Peace, and your opponent's either playing a mono graveyard deck that cannot win any other way, or they say, okay, let's go to plan B. And with how versatile Modern Answers are, every graveyard deck has a plan B. They either have a plan B or their plan A is protected. Thinking about living in, they have Grief, they have Force of Negation, so there's the 4th Vortex. Just not there. Ooh, thank you very much for the follow. Oh. What the? Flu? That's just not nice. This is missing 3 cards in the main deck. It is. Why is it separated like this? That's weird. But yeah, Blood Moon is also a weird choice, especially when you're playing 3 colors in your burn deck. Blood Moon just isn't the card. Doesn't see less of this because they didn't cut guide. I don't know. Oh, let me get to the mana base and then we'll talk about being offensive burn lists. What was I saying? Oh yeah, the Blood Moon. You're playing 3 colors, and Blood Moon, honestly, just isn't it right now. Murktide plays really well around it. Omnath plays really well around it. Hammer Time plays really well around it. Honestly, Burn might be one of the decks that's less happy about seeing Blood Moon right now. Blue Living End plays really well around it. Amulet doesn't, but if Amulet hasn't beaten you by turn 3, you have a genuine shot of beating them with your regular ass cards. Yawgmoth plays Blood Moon themselves, or Magus, same shit. Strahd, same deal with Amulet. If you're casting Blood Moon, you can win without Blood Moon. Footfalls, Shadow, Rakdos, Mid, Control, all of these decks play really well around Blood Moon. So Blood Moon isn't the... Remember, like, when was it? I think it was 2020 when Ponza was like tier 1. Because Blood Moon on turn 2 just beat so many decks. It was, I was going to say it was not even funny, but it was pretty fucking funny. That's just not the case anymore. You know, decks adapted. Also, Triumphs made mana bases a lot more versatile in how they're built. Like 4 color gets to exist because they play like what? 1 Triumph, 2 Triumphs. They play 2 Triumphs So they can go turn 1 fetch Trine, turn 2 fetch basic, turn 3 fetch basic. You can't Blood Moon me now. Let's get it on. Button Growth is also a pretty gross card, but that's beyond the point. So yeah, Blood Moon's just not good right now. Which sucks. I love Blood Moon, even though I don't play it. I love the card. The rest of the sideboard is fine. And then the mana base. The mana base is fucking wild. Just wow. That's why I said, honestly, this is why I said this was a binder deck. Because if you're putting these lands in, it's because you don't have other lands. You're fighting for scraps. You're trying to get enough lands to cast spells. Which this list kind of, they're playing 19. Okay, 19 is fine. But you know, they have their fetch lands, they have their sacred foundries. They're playing 3, which I don't get. 2 is more than enough. But sure, that's fine. That's fine. Maybe they're missing another fetch, so they included an extra shockland. A fine choice. An extra basic also works, which they did, by the way, for basics. And then, then the Blood Crypt for the Obnixilis splash. And then they're playing 3 Clifftop Retreat, which I don't get. Why are you playing 3 Sacred Foundry and 3 Clifftop Retreat? Just doesn't make sense. No Inspiring Vantage. Wait. No Sunbaked Canyon. Oh, I peaked so much there. I'm sorry. No Sunbaked Canyon. And the Den of the Bugbear. It's the Buddy Land. The Boros Buddy Land. It's not good. It's just not good. I mean, it's fine in I don't know. It's not even fine in this is how much this list irritates me. It's not even fine in Pioneer to be playing Clifftop Retreat. You play Vantage, you play Shocklands, you play Painlands, and that's enough white sources to play Boros aggro if you want to, or at least Boros burn if the deck were good in Pioneer. This mana base is just vile. This mana base is vile. So yeah, I was clearly thinking about this a lot during this past week. Thank you for those that shared it in Discord. Obnixilis to sack the island. Okay, yeah, that's marvelous. Obnixilis is there, so my Eidolons are useful, and you get shot for 2 damage. Okay, that's a good one. So yeah, don't do this. Don't do that. And this, I think this top aided an event. I think that was it. Yeah, sure. I mean, you're playing 5 cards in the main board that are. I mean, you're playing 1 card in the main board that's actively bad. You're playing 7 in Ragavan and Whirling Vortex that are iffy. And in the side, you're playing like 2 in Blood Moon that are bad and 2 in Hearst that are mediocre. Your mana base is a train wreck, but you know, they all top for red, so it still works somehow. And this might sound a bit cocky, but I don't care. Some game stars are just bad. That's just true. Some game stars have a pretty shitty player base. And yeah. Yeah, that could just happen. So yeah, that was it. I feel like I wanted to play Magic. Why isn't this happening? Oh. 1 fucking hour. I've been 1 fucking hour trying to make a game. Okay. whoever made this UI, whoever made this UI needs to get bolted. Because I if it's darkened out, if it's gray, it means that this option isn't selected. So the only buddies can join option is not selected, right? No, if you click it, it now says anyone can join. Oh, what up? What up? What up? God, I've been here for 1 hour ranting about shitty burn lists with Magic Online trying to match with nobody. That's not my game, so I'll go 05. Well, have you thought about playing Ragavan and Ob Nixilis in your burn deck? Think about that. Think about that. No, but it's true. Some game stores are very competitive. Not even in player quality per se, but like if your game store is just, I'm even gonna go to this view because it shows even better decks. If your game store just has these decks, I mean, yeah, you're gonna lose a bunch of matchups against Hammer Time because they go turn 2 attack for 10, turn 3 attack for 10 being protected. Living End's gonna do Living End things, Amulet's gonna do Amulet things, and the resident mono green Tron player, they play 4 Weather the Storm in their sideboard because they really don't want to lose to Burn. Like, you're the only Burn player in 60 people, and they play Weather the Storm because I don't want to lose to the Burn player. It would have been great if this list had Weather the Storm in the side. I bet we can find a list playing Weather the Storm in the side. Dractus is somewhat reasonable. No Weather the Storm? I'm actually surprised. Tron players love playing anti-burn. They could play their list well, but they rather just Blizzard allow any player. Okay, I'm ready to play some Magic. I wasn't for the past hour, apparently, because whoever made that UI. Okay, maybe that UI was made in 2002. But holy shit, that was incomprehensible. But yeah, if your LGS is just filled with to the brim with meta decks, gonna be rough. Last modern paper event I played, I got matched into. See, this is just a good burn hand. We keep this, and if we draw Incinerator, we can enable it with our Rift Bolts most likely. I just hope my opponent doesn't concede when he sees I'm playing burn. This is my issue with playing tournament practice, is that my opponents a lot of times concede when they see that I'm playing burn. Because for some, okay, here's what I don't get. If you're not ready to play against these decks, why are you in tournament practice? Your shitty fucking tier 7 brew, you can just play. There's a lobby open play for those decks. What your shitty brew really needs the sideboard to work? Get real. He just shocked himself, which in my book, he has removal. It's fine. We still get hit for 1 like this. I'm playing the land now. I'm gonna maybe make him think that I have stuff. But yeah, I'll only really comment the interesting Incinerator lines. I was this past week also in tournament practice. They have 5 cards that. Yeah, I kind of hate that shit. You play tournament practice, and the dudes are obviously prepared to play against Burn for some fucking reason. Um, which is just a weird flex. Not even a flex. If I'm being real, not even a flex. Um, I was this past week. I was, you know, I I I usually. Here's the thing. Twitter is an absolute cancer. That's it. That's the full sentence. Twitter is an absolute cancer. But there's this little. What's it called? What's it called? It's a biology. It's a biology term. What's it called? There's a little ecosystem around the Magic community on Twitter. Like Magic players follow one another and yada yada yada. Um, Haman's playing the rest. Oh boy. There's this ecosystem around Magic players. They share ideas, yada yada yada. And for better or for worse, I try to keep up with what's happening. Just because I like the game, I like to know what's happening. And the Lurrus ban announcement was announced on Twitter first. The Magic announced it there. But I got to sell my Lurrus for 15 tickets. Where otherwise, I wouldn't be able to do it. Here's the thing. Okay. If I draw Incinerator, I shouldn't cast the Skewer. But he's shown me that he's playing discard spells. So I'm gonna go for it. So yeah, I keep up with it mostly because if you engineer it so that it only kind of gives you what you want to see, it's not that awful. However, you get these little nuggets of drama sometimes, which, in my opinion, are very funny. Are very funny. So this past week, let me see if I can find it. So Reed Duke, if you don't know Reed Duke, is this very popular modern player. He's very good at playing Jund of all decks. So if he made his name playing Jund, he's got to be a good player. Because that's the only way to make that deck work. But he posted an article on Channel Fireball, which by the way, this is a tough decision. This is a tough decision. Which, by the way, and this might sound ironic because I personally am planning and have written some quote unquote articles on Magic, but these big websites like Channel Fireball and previously SCG, they pump out, what the fuck is this? What the fuck? They try to pump out. Oh, should I draw? I think I should draw. They try to pump out articles. They try to pump out articles, and because it's just quantity over quality, a lot of them are just terrible. I remember in SCG there were a bunch of and here's the thing. Here's the reality of the situation. I'm fine with calling these articles bullshit because I'm not making like a big statement on it, right? I'm just talking to a half a dozen people. I'm just talking to half a dozen people about how those articles were garbage. I'm not like making a huge statement in front of thousands of people. I'm just poking fun at this. But those articles were absolute dog shit. There were a bunch of articles called "Everything I Know About X Deck," X being whatever deck, and they were just unreadable pieces of garbage. It was often something like, "Oh, I did um, a bunch of games with these decks, and these are my conclusions." And then it's just a bunch of, it was like playing Magic 101 type shit. And then usually conclusions from a deck they played like maybe 50 times, which for context really enough to isn't really enough to say, oh no, I know a lot about this deck, I'm a master. No, it's just a bunch of generic thoughts about the deck. And I found it kind of funny, but I also find it kind of sad because what the hell, like, make interesting content, please. They have the audacity to then charge for SCG Pro or whatever. That that was that was always an unwelcoming sight. So I think I win here. I think I win here. I'm gonna. So yeah. This article of Reed Duke kinda has that same feeling where like they asked him, "Hey, we need something on Commander by Friday," and he's like, "Oh, it's Wednesday afternoon now. How am I?" Okay, I'm actually being quite unfair. This is not because this was a big deal. This is not uh, this is not a diss on Reed Duke. It's not. I think he's an amazing player. He seems like I don't know personally, so I won't comment on that. But he is a good player, genuinely, and I think that I think that you shouldn't poke fun at him. Even if you disagree with his article, I don't think you should poke fun at him. However, it did read like an article that got pushed on him, not something that he was really excited to do. That's how I read it. Either just is it true? I don't know. That's how I read it. Am I killing this, Darcy? I'd say fuck no. But he released the Commander article, and that Commander article was okay. I'll show it in a minute. Let me just F6 this. But that article was this. Just a bunch of generic shit about Commander. Stuff you can probably learn from a friend like 5 minutes. But he goes on about, how mana ramp is good in Commander. And honestly, I think this is like, this reads a lot like something coming from a 60 card player, where like shit like Soul Ring would be, but like shit like Signets and whatnot just aren't playable in modern decks, for example. But they're very good in Commander, and these ramp spells too. They're either playing a very combo-oriented deck or they are just unplayable. They're good in Commander. And I'm gonna skip this section because this is the section that got a lot of heat on. And actually, I didn't even see any heat on it. I just read a bunch of people being upset at people being upset over that. But either way, you can just get through this turn. What I mean to say is that I didn't really see people getting mad at Reduke, but that's also because I have pretty much no contact with the Commander community, um, just at all. So it makes sense that I wouldn't see anything about it. But because I am a modern player, the side that was defending Reduke did get to me. Just as information, it got through to me. Is that how I want to say that? Probably. And so essentially, where's the article? And then board sweepers, extremely here. Board sweepers are extremely powerful. And even shit like Blasphemous Act, which maybe honestly, but maybe Blasphemous Act would be good in formats. Is Blasphemous Act legal in anything other than Commander? And other than fucking Legacy? Who wants to play Legacy? I wonder. Is it? Can I dry incinerator here? God fucking damn it. I want to cast this skewer, so I'm doing this. Is Blasphemous Act? It is. When did Blasphemous Act get printed? This sounds like Innistrad. I'm calling it. Ha. The art is very Innistrad-y. I swear to God, I honestly wasn't even looking at the Avacyn color. But the art is very Innistrad-y. Yeah, but go wide decks aren't really a thing in Modern anymore, right? Okay, for the sake of saving, come on, opponent, why are you taking so long to surveil once? For the sake of whatever, I'm just gonna do this and skip the turn. But yeah, ooh. Sorry, I didn't mean to scare you with horrible images. Yeah, board wipes are good. Permission spells are good, encounters and protection spells and whatnot are very good. Long-term very spells are very good too. Tutors are amazing and they're kind of only legal in Commander. And then there's this section about spot removal. And it basically goes on about how spot removal is only good if you're not giving anything to your opponent. Oh, hello. Which honestly is fair. It's honestly fair to say that. It's pretty fair to say that. He goes on saying like, oh, Beast Within is bad, Path is bad, all these that give a token are bad, all these that give a land are bad. Even attacks Chaos Warp being bad, which honestly, Chaos Warp, the reason to play Chaos Warp is not because Chaos Warp is good, it's because that might be the only thing that you have to deal with some types of permanents as a mono red deck. Hello. I have to do this now. So yeah, but then there was this whole thing about how these cards are actually good. And I don't know. I honestly, as a not Commander player, I mean, I have Commander decks. I have people I play Commander with from time to time, so I have some Commander decks. I would play any of these. How many are these? 12 cards. I'd play any of these 12 cards, honestly, if I felt like I needed them. I don't think that. Ooh, this is actually not. I honestly think that. I don't know. It just feels weird to Oh, they have X-proof. Okay. It just feels weird to see such a big thing about this. What the? I kind of read this diagonally, but I didn't really get into it. As mentioned, in multiplayer, it's generally more profitable to focus on your own game plan than to trade resources against one opponent. That said, a few well-placed pieces of spot removal can take out key threats, including commanders, and stop opponents from assembling devastating combos. Okay, that's true. That's true. I like spot removal to be cheap and be instant speed. This maximizes your ability to be ready with it when you need it. Is that creature attacking Johnny or Jenny? No response from me. Have at it. Is it attacking me or my planeswalker? Then it's getting yeeted. Okay. I'm allergic to giving my opponents free stuff in a game of Magic. I think this sentence is this sentence. I'm not gonna say it's wrong. I'm not gonna say it's wrong. What a shitty fucking game. I'm not gonna say it's wrong because you do you. He specifically says I don't like. Well, no, what I'm gonna say. No, you do like. No, if you don't like. You'd like to give your opponents free stuff. That's 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 not even a problem. That's a you thing. But these cards that give your opponent stuff are very good on what they do. There's a reason they give your opponent stuff is so that they're not incredibly obscene. This is actually good. I kind of want to play a hand where Incinerator isn't. I thought this was Seal of Fire, but I want to play a hand where Incinerator isn't just a slam dunk. But yeah, there's a reason those cards. I want to say exist. There's a reason those cards give your opponents free shit. It's because that free shit is the downside of playing cards. Which by the way, this is a little tangent, but I fucking love cards with downsides. I honestly think that the proper way to balance a game is for things to have downsides. Like, I like 2 whole draws away of casting Incinerator, so at this point I'd say that Incinerator is a no-go, unfortunately. But yeah, I think that cards having downsides is the pinnacle of balance. It kinda irks me. It kinda irks me that some cards just have no downside. They're just good. Which it's what pushes the game to be more and more powerful card focused. But I love when cards have downsides. I think that's very good design. And I think kind of over analyzing this first sentence, it's kind of just written in a quote unquote cheeky manner to that was probably just a cheeky sentence to get off this paragraph. But try to avoid cards like this in normal tournament play, and boy do I hate them even more in multiplayer. When I do engaging commander deck building, first must take cards like this within right out of my deck. That said, these cards are powerful and necessary evil to get out of sticky situations. Don't use them early on. Okay, so I hadn't read this last thing. How in the world did this little article thing make such a big deal in the world. Like, he flat out says, I don't like them. He flat out says, I personally don't like them. I usually don't play them myself, but they're popular and I can see their use when you want to get out of a sticky situation. If you have to do it, just try to save them for as a last resource instead of trying to save them for and try to use them as a last resource and not as something that you use early. Because, and he's right, the more turns your opponent plays with the card you gave them, in some cases a land, in some cases a creature, the better for them. So you should save those types of thing to either win the game or stop someone from absolutely winning the game. I don't even know what I'm playing against. I don't even know what I'm playing against. The decision to get Goblin Guide instead of Swift Spear might be wrong, actually. Just getting some creatures because they're probably playing creatures, and I kind of want to not play into them. I genuinely don't get how this article got so much hate. Like, for like a whole day, I was reading tons of people just going in on it, some defending it, some hating it, yada, yada, yada. And I was like, oh man, I have to read that. Then I skimmed it because it's Commander, but I was like, yeah, maybe I'll talk about this on stream. I'll talk about this on stream because, yeah, sure, why not? And now that I actually read the part that was supposedly controversial, wow, who reads that and goes, man, this is wrong, I gotta hate on this person? I honestly think that the hate came from, oh, I really don't want to try incinerator here. The hate came from Commander players going, what is this modern player doing in my Commander format? Because people do that a lot, right? They get really salty about someone not doing something as long as they do it, or for as long as they have done it, and acting slash writing slash giving off the vibe that they know more than them, which is a pretty, it's, how do I put this? Oh, I'm just gonna lose here, huh? It's just a crappy way of living your life. As simple as that. As simple as that. Okay, my opponent kind of bad at this, but that's a 5-5. Yeesh. Alrighty then. Again, I got Shadow Spear and beat me, so I'm just gonna go next. And see, Swift Spear really wasn't amazing. Whatever. So yeah, Commander players, even I'm gonna be real. If a Commander player came out with something like, "Oh, hey, I'm Johnny Commander. I play Commander. I spent all my life playing Commander. Here's a piece about how here's a piece about how I think some cards are bad in your favorite format that you play a long time. Now give me donations because I made an article in 5 minutes. I'd be like, yeah, this is kind of shitty, and I hate it. So but commander players are known for being toxic, and I'm generalizing here, which I recognize is not a good thing. Which I recognize is not a good thing. But what are you gonna do? I'm okay. Let's make it. I'm generalizing commander players that are salty. They're fucking scummy. That's the thought. Yeah, that's the thought. It's just it just baffled me that it got brought up so much. Just got brought up way more than it should have. And speaking of it, I read another thing that's doing this week. Got me. I don't want to say hot and bothered. I know it just seems weird that it would be a thing. It just seems weird that people say this type of shit, and I don't even know. But it was Saffron Olive, better known as. Wait, is that? I legitimately never in my life have seen this person play Magic. I know there's a meme about how he says shit. What does he say? I know he says something. I just don't know what it is. But he tweeted, August is traditionally the worst month of the year for MTG on Twitch, but it's pretty stunning that Magic Twitch viewership over the past 14 days is almost exactly the same as Magic Twitch viewership in August 2015. I just find it weird that someone writes this and doesn't think for five. Well, I guess it's about not being self-aware, right? That's a lack of self-awareness. God, I'm playing on one land. This sucks. It's just a lack of self-awareness. But here's the reality of the situation. Magic content on Twitch fucking sucks. Your 5-hour stream of you sitting there clicking through a monitor and going, this is a good play. Mm-hmm. Oh my god, this is not a good play. And going, I hope I draw this card. Oh man, my opponent got so lucky he drew the card in it. That's just not entertaining. I want to fall asleep. And Magic content has been like that for years now. Since I started playing Magic in Guilds of Ravnica, Magic content was so boring. So boring. I never got into watching people stream because of that. It's just so boring. They just comment the game. How is that entertaining? That's just not entertaining. And okay, now you can say, hold on now. Maybe I don't want to be entertained. Maybe this is a problem. That's a fucking problem. Maybe I don't want to be entertained. Maybe, just maybe, I want to watch and I want to learn. Okay, sure. If you want to watch and you want to learn, that's fine. I'm going to say market. There's a market for that. There's a market for, being a very competitive player, a very, what's it called? When you teach someone something. And there's an adjective to describe someone who teaches a lot. But you can be that type of player. But most of them aren't. Most of most Magic players aren't that. They don't extensively go through each line. They don't go through what they're doing. It's just boring. So that's why, and I'm gonna go back to it. That's why it's been the same since 2015, or actually lower. I put some pictures here, which kind of mean nothing. Where's August 2015? Well, there was a big boom here. This was Magic Arena. When did Magic Arena come out? G Arena. Is there like a wiki page on it? There's no wiki. Oh, monkey see. Yeah, September 26, 2019. This was like beta and yada yada yada. Betcha. In December 2018 announced that an esports pool would be created. Okay, this is not what I was looking for. Development. Core 2019, July 13, 2018. Yeah, so like this was the big boom. Okay, I'm about to concede. No. So yeah, that was the big boom of Arena, and you kind of can't see my hand, but steadily going down since, or maybe this steadily going down since Arena came out for two reasons. First, Arena is a garbage software. Like, what the fuck, Wizards? Why is your main? Because they want it to be their main game, right? Which honestly it shouldn't. Arena is fundamentally wrong as a platform for this, for Magic, because it's just not good. It's just not good. It's not competitive. My issue with it is that it's not competitive. So my man drew a Solitude. It's just not competitive. And to make Arena competitive, you need a whole ass overhaul of how I can't know. You need a whole ass overhaul of how the quote unquote Magic esports work. It can't just be random tournaments doing things. It just can't be. It just can't be random ass tournaments every 5 months or so that can qualify you to whatever the fuck, with a huge buy-in. That just ain't it, Chief. So yeah, Magic Arena kind of sucks. You need a good esports structure so that you hold on, I'm petting my cat. Kitty. You need a whole ass good structure, because here's the issue with Arena. I have no incentive of jumping into Arena and try to be good there. What's my incentive? Why does being mythic, or like being the best player on Arena, why do I want that? Because from what I can tell, I kind of don't. I don't get why I would want that. So that's my issue with Arena. In other games, the thing is that if you are the very best, you're playing with players that are professional players and they get paid buku bucks to be playing that game. and that's like an amazing ceiling. I have friends that have been Mythic on Arena, pretty high in Mythic, and it's like, no, you just play with a bunch of idiots that kind of just jam whatever they want to jam. The game's just not competitive. And I know it's ironic. I'm saying this while playing tournament practice on Magic Online, but Magic Online is plenty competitive if you want it to be. I think that's what's missing in Arena. That's part of this decline, but also there's a reason that what's happening here. There's a reason that those other games, other competitive games, have like a big Twitch scene. It's because the people that play them are entertaining. I feel like I'm constantly shitting on Magic content creators, but it's so easy. It's so easy to bully the small child. But those other content creators are entertaining. You know, and people watch them, not necessarily to watch the game. They watch them for the person. And I don't think that happens a lot in Magic. I mean, I'm sure that there are examples that don't fall in what I'm saying. I'm sure there are. I can't think of any, but that's because I'm not a cultured person who knows a lot of content creators. I know a few. I've tried watching a bunch. This is where my conclusions come from, but I'm not saying this is everyone, but it's the majority. All right, counter spell. That's not when I'm playing mismatched lands. That's the biggest tilter. That's the big tilter. My cat's just licking me. So the funny thing about my cat, I don't know if you can see it. He has no eyes. He's blind. He loves watching me play Magic. Shit, and this comes out, right? And Vortex comes in, and Firecraft comes in, and yada yada yada. I feel like I lost myself because this damn kitty is so damn cute. Okay, that's actually pretty ironic. I was speaking about how Magic content creators are boring, and I just sat here in silence for a while. Let's call it an elaborate joke that just wasn't funny. But yeah, I think that both the competitive scene being absolute ass and the creators not being entertaining is why there's this decline. Arena came out, it's like, ooh, there's new Magic is a real boy now, is a real video game. And then it's like, actually, not really. The game sucks, and the people playing it are entertaining. And then he kind of doubles down. Okay, probably a mixture of reasons. Focusing Arena on alchemy over the summer seems to have been a bad idea. No, focusing Arena on standard and then historic and then alchemy was a bad idea. And that's Arena's entire life cycle. Well, season coverage for big tournaments. I don't think that's ever a thing. That was ever a thing. I don't think people watched big tournaments on Twitch. Also, okay. I'm being very critical of this, but I took them out, right? I genuinely think that the coverage on a lot of events is hella terrible. You see a lot of casters in matches having no fucking clue what's happening. You see it a lot, like people are playing a deck and they just don't get how the deck works. They make dumb comments about cards the deck could be playing. They say, "Oh, I don't know if this deck plays this card." Is like any player worth their salt, and Magic players are worth a lot of salt, knows that those cards aren't played and they're bad. This has happened a couple of times. Of course, I'm not talking about fucking Patrick Sullivan and Cedric Phillips. They're awesome. Their commenting was always great. I'm talking about some of those. And the thing is, yeah, sure, they're not professional commentators, casters. It makes sense that they wouldn't be very good at it. But at least fucking study the format. Or better yet, if you're gonna comment on a format, know the format. I personally wouldn't comment on like a legacy tournament. I don't know legacy. But I've dabbled with the idea of like when there's a big modern tournament going on. I've dabbled with the idea of like cast games, like turn on stream, I turn on I turn on my stream, I turn on their stream, I silence them, and then silencing them sounds aggressive. I mute the stream and then just comment on the game myself. That seems like, honestly, that sounds interesting. It's just that I don't really have the schedule flexibility to do that. Is revealed counter spell? That's kind of stinky. I'm gonna do this now then. Hoping he doesn't have another. So yeah, that's also a thing. Okay, that's alright. That's also a thing. But I've dabbled with the idea, and I do it for modern, maybe Pioneer. I do it for modern, maybe Pioneer, because I genuinely think that anything other than that, and I just wouldn't be competent enough. Well, that's a word. Competent enough. Not gonna fucking comment on a format that I barely know. Sorry, I was kind of reading shit on here. Oh yeah. And then he says something that just baffled me. What was it? What was it? What was it? I can't seem to find what it was. Can you guys see anything interesting on screen that I just can't put my finger on it. I just can't put my finger. I saw, but actually I saw a response here by the Olive Man himself. That ain't it. What was it? I can't remember now. Show more replies. Fucking hell. He commented something that when I read it, I was like, this is dumb. This person is talking, I don't know if out of their ass, but definitely out of a hole that shouldn't have the floor to speak. God. I kind of wanna find it now. That's now it's spoilers. Everyone's losing their mind over the new spoilers. The new set looks okay. Memory Deluge. The new set looks okay, but nothing to shake a stick at. Damn. I'm really sad I can't find what he said on that previous topic. Because it's something that was really dumb. Fucking hell. Well, that's I should have screenshotted it to make a better argument myself, but that kind of didn't work. These whole incinerator games have been tragic. I haven't gotten incinerator down once. And my man has a counterspell in hand and I can't do anything. I just gotta skip turns till I can go pop pop. Oh, actually Seal of Fire is really cool against Solitude decks. Because very hard to save a Solitude when Seal of Fire is uncounterable effectively once it's down. Oh, I'm just sad I couldn't find other answer, but it is what it is. This game is looking like it's gonna be all. He has a counter spell in hand. I'm just kind of sad that Incinerator didn't get to come down once. Oh, okay. I'm gonna bait out that counter spell. He has 7 cards in hand though. This is. I hate playing against control. It's just boring. It takes a long time, and it's just upsetting. If he's giving me permission to do it, I'm just gonna do it. If he's, I recently Field of Ruin costs 2 mana, and it replaces itself, so it doesn't cost all 3. It costs 3 up front, but it replacing itself indeed costs 2. That's very cheap. That's very cheap. Oh, going back to Commander, looking at Field of Ruin, looking at Field of Ruin reminded me of that. I once lost a Commander game to Field of Ruin. And it was not against Mill, which is something I've experienced in Modern. So what happened? What was its name? There's a commander out there in this planet that there's a commander that there is a commander. Oh. Snapcastery. Snapcaster Mage. Who's still playing Snapcaster Mage in 2022? Jesus fuck. Do this. So what was I saying? Oh, I lost a commander deck to a commander deck? A commander game to I lost the commander game to Field of Ruin off of... There's a commander out there. Oh, I know what it is. There's a commander out there that punishes searching. And that shit was hilarious. I just have to say, that shit was hilarious. Let's see. Can I find that commander? I bet it's in EDH Rec. But essentially, we were all very low. Because I'm very on brand. I was playing Dragon's Approach. I built a Dragon's Approach deck. And I was all happy playing my Dragon's Approach deck, casting like 2-3 Dragon's Approach per turn. And then we're all very low because, you know, I'm the guy casting Dragon's Approach, so of course everyone's targeting me with their shit. And I bet I can find it in EDH Rec. Gonti, no. Villis, no. What was it? Does anyone know what I'm talking about? Like it's like if it says that if you search your deck, you take some damage. That has to be like a semi-popular commander. That has to be a semi-popular commander. Is this it? No. Fuck, I wish I could remember. Okay, this game is just very boring. I just cannot take this. I mean, maybe I win. And with these draws, okay. With these draws, I probably win this game. Because I pass the turn. I bolt. I accumulate these spells all in hand. And as soon as I draw a land, I play it and I deploy my entire hand and I think I win. I'll play the third game, see if I can get it fast enough. But this is just a very boring game to be playing. Which is part of why I got so down on playing leagues with like properly comment. Actually, this game is a perfect example of why a lot of Magic content is boring. When you have boring games, you can't rely on the game for entertainment. As funny as it is, play. This sentence is very rough to go out. As funny as it is to be playing against a blue-white control player that's stuck in 2020, 2019 even. You just can't turn a boring game into content, right? That's the issue. That is the issue. What's that mono black? Okay. I'm losing my fucking pickle. What's that mono black commander? If you search, if you play a spell, it also triggers. We're getting to the bottom of this. Search, deal damage. Oh, that's not a type line. Sure, whatever opponent. Search, deal damage, is that it? Oh, and color B, because I'm sure it was mono black. Okay, why isn't it here though? Or maybe it was loses life. That makes more sense for mono black, right? Search loses life. Ain't that a pickle? And my... Oh, so recently in Pioneer, mono green... Oh, he shocked to opt. He has solitude. Recently in Pioneer, mono green has been splashing Teferi, the one from Innistrad, and the card's name is Teferi. What's it called? I don't even know. Teferi who slows the sunsets. Mono green has been splashing this blue-white card because Ode of Nissa plus what's it called? Nictus is a fair card. But I cannot. Oh, did he shot himself, right? Yeah. I cannot not call this. Why is my Steam opening up? I cannot not call this card Teferi who slows the internet. I don't know why. I cannot remember the word sunset when thinking about this Teferi. In my mind, it's just called Teferi who slows the internet. And that's, I know that's my problem, but it's kind of funny. Okay, this is fine. This is fine. I fear that if I'm bolting here is gonna counterspell, but I think it's worth it here. Okay. Now we wait. Now we played a waiting game. Ooh. Interesting. Why isn't it appearing here? Why is this so slow? Was it Obnixels? Whenever an opponent searches the library, that player sacrifices the creature. That was it. This was it. Okay, this is this is Obnixilus? Is this the original art? This is Obnixilus? Why does Obnixilus look so menacing here? And then looks like a fucking dork here. What the shit? He looks like a proper demon here. He looks like an accountant that got sent to hell but didn't really quit their job because they were like, this is actually kind of better. What the shit? Like, isn't okay. Yeah, but what happened was the dude Field of Ruin someone, and we took a minute, we took a hot minute there going, oh, he dies, right? And he's like, no. Each player searches their library, and this search isn't conditional. So the dude fucking killed 3 people with a Field of Ruin. That was pretty darn funny. Okay, so I'm gonna stop the games here because I cannot seem to find a fucking game where Incinerator would be good. So this is the deal. This is the deal. I'm gonna be off of work for a while, so that means I'll probably won't be at home at all. So I won't be streaming for a while, but when I return in like 2 weeks, I will play this in a league. I will play this in a league because today we played against a bunch of non good matchups. I don't want to call them bad matchups because they aren't, but I played against some not good matchups, and the deck didn't do too badly. Like Affinity was, the lack of Skullcrack. I felt the lack of Skullcrack. I felt the lack of Skullcrack so much that I think I still want Skullcrack in the side, like good old 2020 burn, where I was playing Skullcrack in the side. I feel like I still want that. And Vortex is just a valuable card to side out for Incinerator in games where I might need the extra push. Especially living in, and I think I prefer Vortex over the ley line because it's wider. But I'll be playing this in 8 way. Oh yeah, because I was like, I'm gonna put one in the main too. Actually, okay, this is kind of loose, a single in the main board, but the reasoning here is that I then have 4 when I slide them in. If that makes sense, like this little straggler is here because it doesn't fit in the sideboard, basically. Okay, but this is the plan. Next time, I'm going to play this in a league to see if because the deck felt okay into weird matchups. Exclusive Firecraft seems very good right now. Just I guess any deck that wants to play slower, you just go I'll wait. When I draw my Firecraft, though, you're gonna get clacked. So yeah, that was it for today. Thank you for those that hung out. I hope it was at least somewhat entertaining. And yeah, that's it. See you next time. The next screen is gonna say starting soon. I promise. Next time I stream, I'll have a bunch of OBS scenes with the different texts that I want to have. So you have see you soon, and you have starting soon. But see you soon.